Welcome back, everybody, to another lesson. Today we are going to be doing division of mixed numbers. So let's start with our first example here. You will have 20, let me write that a little bigger. You'll have 20 divided by 3 and 1/5. Well, just like with multiplication, you want to start out by having improper fractions. Well, we know 20 has a default denominator of 1, so that would be 20 over 1 divided by, now we got to figure out what 3 and 1/5 is for an improper fraction. Well, that's going to be 5 times 3, because it's denominator times whole number. 5 times 3, which is 15, plus the numerator of 1, so that'd be 16/5. Now, when we divide by a number, it's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So you're going to have 20 over 1 times 5/16. Because when you divide, you multiply by its reciprocal. Now let's look for numbers we could factor out here. It looks like the 20 and 16, there's a common 4 that'll factor out. There's a common factor of 4, so 20 divided by 4 is 5. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So if you rewrite this, it's going to be 5 over 1 times 5 over 4. So now you just do the multiplication, which is going to give you 25 over 4. And of course, we want to have the answer as a mixed number, not as an improper fraction. So what you got to do is take 25 and divide it by 4. We'll figure out how many times 4 goes into 25. It goes in about 6 times. So 6 times 4 is 24. So 25 minus 24 is 1. You'll have your whole number 6. Then you'll have the remainder of 1 as your numerator, the divisor of 4 for your denominator. So the answer you're looking for is going to be 6 and 1/4. That would be your answer to this equation. Would be 6 and 1/4. And I do have more. I got more. Alright. So we have 8 and 2/5 divided by 7. 8 and 2/5 divided by 7. Again, we want to convert these to an improper fraction. So we'll start with the first one, 8 and 2/5. So you'll take, again, the denominator times the whole number. 5 times 8 is 40. Then you add the numerator to it. 40 plus 2 is 42. So you'll have 42/5 divided by, remember, 7 has a default denominator of 1, so it'll be divided by 7 over 1. But again, remember, when you divide by something, you invert and multiply. So really, it's going to be 42/5 times 1/7. It's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. And we see 7 is a factor of 42, so if you divide the 42 by 7, you get 6. You divide the 7 by 7, you get 1. So if we rewrite this, you will have 6 over 5 times 1 over 1. Well, that's a no-brainer. That's just going to give you 6 over 5. But we need to convert that to an improper fraction. So we'll take 6 and divide it by 5. And 5 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. So you'll have a whole number of 1. The remainder 1 will be your numerator. Divisor 5 will be your denominator. So your answer to this will be 1 1/5. That would be the answer you get for this problem. I got 3 more problems. Alright. Let's take 4 3/4 and divide that by 1 1/3. So 4 3/4 divided by 1 1/3. So again, start by converting these to improper fractions. So 4 times 4 is 16 plus 3 is 19. You will have 19/4 divided by 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4 divided by 4/3. But again, when we divide by something, we multiply by its reciprocal. So you'll have 19/4 times 3/4. So now you just go straight through doing the multiplication. 19 times 3 is going to be 57. And then you will have 4 times 4 is 16. Those don't factor out. And we have an improper fraction. We need to get that back to a mixed number. So we will do some long division here. 57 divided by 16. So 16 goes into 57 about how many times? It'd be 3 times. Because if you did it 4 times, it would give you 64, which would put you over. So it's 3 times. And 3 times 16 is 48. 57 minus 48, well, that's going to be 9. So you'll have a whole number of 3. You'll have the remainder of 9 being your numerator. You'll have the divisor of 16 being your denominator. So the answer to this problem is going to be 3 9/16. That would be your final answer. Then I'll have 2 more. Alright. We have 5 4/5 divided by 2 1/2. So 5 4/5 divided by 2 1/2. Again, convert to an improper fraction. So 5 times 5 is 25 plus 4, so that's 29/5. 29/5 divided by, alright, 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5, divided by 5 over 2. But as we remember, when you divide, you multiply by the reciprocal. So you will have 29 over 5 times 2 over 5. And unfortunately, nothing can cross cancel or factor out here, so you just got to go straight through and do the multiplication. So 29 times 2, well, that's going to be 58. 5 times 5, that is 25. So now what we have here is an improper fraction. We need to get a mixed number. So go through to your division. 58 divided by 25. And 25 goes into 58 how many times? Twice. 2 times 25, well, that's 50. 58 minus 50 is 8. So you'll have the whole number 2. That remainder 8, your numerator. The denominator 25 will be, the divisor 25 will be your denominator. So the answer you're really looking for here is 2 8/25. And that is exactly what you would get for your answer, 2 8/25. Alright, I'm going to move on here and do the last problem. Okay, we have 1 7/8 divided by 1 2/3. I can definitely clear that now since that's the last problem. Alright, so 1 7/8 divided by 1 2/3. So again, you're going to first convert these to improper fractions. So 8 times 1 is 8, plus 7 is 15. So you would have 15/8 divided by 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. Divided by 5/3. But again, we got to remember that when we divide by something, we multiply by its reciprocal. So you will have 15/8 times 3/5. Well, we see the 15 and 5 will factor from each other because 5 is a factor of 15. So if you divide 15 by 5, you'll get 3. Divide 5 by 5, you'll get 1. So let's rewrite this to make it make sense. You'll have 3/8 times 3/1. Okay, now you can go straight through and do the multiplication. 3 times 3 is 9. 8 times 1 is 8. You have 9/8. Well, we need to get an improper fraction from that. So let's do 9 divided by 8. 8 goes into 9 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. So you have the whole number 1. That remainder of 1 will be your numerator. That divisor 8 will be your denominator. So the answer you are looking for is 1 1/8. So 1 1/8 is your final answer to this. The biggest thing, if you understand multiplication, fine. With division, all you do is invert and multiply. If that's the biggest thing you remember with division, you got it. And that's all I have for this lesson. Next lesson will be order of operations with fractions, and that's where I'm going to prove that multiplication and division have the same priority. So stay tuned for that. I will see you all on the next lesson. Hope everybody has a good night, and see you then.